I want to continue talking about the issue of women covering their hair because there's a lot of things that we need to discuss. We didn't have a chance to finish everything. So let me tell you a couple more things. Number one, right? What about a woman? We talked already about a single girl who was never married. She doesn't have to cover her hair. We talked about a woman who's married. She has to cover her hair when she goes outside, for sure. Some even do it inside, as a chumrah, as chassidut. What about a woman who's divorced, right, or widowed? That she has to cover her hair? That's the question, right? So it says in the poskim, brought down there, that they do have to cover their hair, but it's not from the Torah, the obligation. It's from the rabbis. The rabbis decreed that even a woman who is widowed, the husband died, lo aleinu, or she got divorced. Today there's many divorce. They say it's like 60%, 70%, divorce people. 80%. Depends which community. Can you imagine getting divorced like this? It's terrible. But anyway, the point is, right, that they have to cover their hair from the rabbis. The rabbis, why do they say that they should cover their hair, these women? But they're not married now, right? They're single now. But still, they said they can make a mistake, A woman who's divorced or widowed, they can make a mistake to a woman who's married, They think, oh, you see, she doesn't cover her hair. She was married, or she, whatever. So they're going to think, right, that it's okay, to not to cover their hair. This is the reason why the rabbi said, just to be sure, that everybody's going to cover their hair. Although when married women, the divorced women and also the widow should cover their hair as well, just to make sure there's no separation, right? No differentiation between one and the other. This is the reason why they made the takana. But as we said, right, that's according to the simple meaning, right, the pshat. But according to the deeper meaning, right, according to Kabbalah, as it says in the Zohar, as we mentioned, there's really a different reason, for covering the hair, as we said, right? Because the hair is dinim, So when the hair is showing of the woman, right, there's a lot of dinim, a lot of judgments going on, As we said, right, the husband is getting punished, and the children also are getting, depleted because by that, getting damaged by that. The woman, the mother doesn't cover the hair. So this is the reason, according to Kabbalah. So that's the thing, So then we can say like this also, that the women who are widowed, or divorced, they have also dinim, coming out of their hair, And this is why the rabbis told her to cover her hair in order to avoid having these dinim. This is the thing. So according to Kabbalah, right, there's a deeper reason for that. But I have to tell you one thing though, right? Since it's only from the rabbis, this obligation for the woman who's divorced or widowed to cover her hair, so therefore we're a little bit more lenient with them, We're not so stringent, strong, like a woman who's married, because a woman who's married is from the Torah, this obligation. That's something else. So how are we lenient with them? Number one, right, there's a lot of questions, that come up with divorced woman, or widowed lady. She wants to remarry, right? She wants to marry another guy. She doesn't want to stay single all her life. So the question is now, she wants to go on a date, let's say, right? To shidduch, to find a new guy, new man, right? Can she show her hair, or she has to cover it? Because according to, as we said, right? According to the Chachamim, a widowed woman or a divorced woman has to cover her hair. So how does she go on a date, and show her hair to the guy, to look nice, to look attractive, So there's a question that they asked Rabbi Moshe Feinstein about this, So he said, Rabbi Moshe alav shalom, he said that if a woman is like this, going on dates, looking for a new shidduch after she lost her husband, whatever, so she's allowed to show her hair, when she goes on a date, let's say, or let's say, she's like trying to look nice in front of some men, to show them, that she's attractive. So she's allowed to uncover her hair to show them, because she's doing it for mitzvah, for shidduch. So she's allowed to do that, because otherwise, who's going to want to marry her? She doesn't look nice, doesn't look attractive. Who wants her? Nobody wants a woman like that. Looks like a maidservant, right? Somebody you bring, to clean your house, right? Shifcha, Well, who wants a lady like this? They want her to look attractive. So therefore, Moshe Feinstein said, to the ladies, that if they're looking for a new shidduch, and they want to show their hair to the guy, to the man, right? They're allowed to uncover their hair because of this. That's what he said. Maran Rabbi alav shalom, he had a different approach to this. His approach was, what? Since you're going, for a shidduch, you're looking for a new man. So what we're going to do is allow you to wear a sheitel, parik, a wig, right? This you can to look nice, the wigs look good, So he allowed them to do like this, the women, if they're going on a date or they're looking, they want to look attractive for some man, he allows them to wear a sheitel. for this purpose. The truth is, he allows every Maran, he allowed every woman who's divorced or widowed, to wear a sheitel. Because, it's only rabbinical, so then we're more lenient. Because there are some rabbis who allow sheitel, parik. They allow some, but when it's from the Torah, we're not lenient, we're stringent about that. But when it's from the rabbis, we can be more lenient, and allow parik, sheitel, right, wig. We can allow that. So Ramanan allowed this. Rav Moshe Feinstein was even more mekel, right, even more lenient. He said you can show your real hair. If you wanted, you're looking for a shidduch, you can do that for the purpose of shidduch. Yeah. That's the thing, So I want to tell you a little bit more now, right, regarding this. There are, right, there's another question which comes up, which is, when we say, right, the woman has to cover her hair, how much does she have to cover, How much hair can be exposed? Right, that's the question, So the truth is, according to the simple meaning, according to the pshat, if the majority of her hair is covered, the majority, and a little bit is showing, a little bit, some bangs over here. They say like 2 or 3 fingers, 6 centimeters, 5, 6 centimeters. 5, 6 centimeters. Then we can we can allow that, that a little bit is showing there, it doesn't have to be 100% covered every hair, that's not that much. So we allow a little bit to be uncovered, to show a little bit of the hair. But according to Kabbalah, according to Zohar Kadosh, right, they're not allowed to even show one hair, It has to cover everything. So, I'm sorry too. I'm very sorry. Okay, so, Rabbi, I think you have to look at the sign over here, what it says. I think you put the sign there, no? You got to put it on silent mode. Bezat Hashem. Okay, so anyway, as we said, right, they can show a little bit, according to the simple meaning, but according to Kabbalah, she has to cover everything, so she should try to cover everything according to Kabbalah, that's we're a little bit more stringent with that. So it depends, but the truth is, most women cannot be so stringent like that. They cannot do like the Kabbalah. Cover every hair, it's too much, they can't do this much. I mean, only the most, religious woman can do something like this, to be so strict. But most women are not on that level, So we allow them to show a little bit, here, there, a little bit here, a little bit there. It's okay, as long as the majority is covered, and only, as we said, right, 2 or 3 fingers are showing. Here, right, something like that. That's okay. That's all right, That's the way. So, as we said, right, that each woman has their own rule, about covering the hair. It depends on the situation, right? Who is she? What is she? She's married, she's single, this, that, right? All these things. Tell you something interesting, about this, which is going to show you, right, what I said in the name of the Kabbalah. Right, that the hair is dinim, So we have to be careful with the hair, especially in the women. So it says in the Zohar Kadosh something interesting. You know what it says there? It says that, why did Hashem make women, that they don't grow a beard? Only men grow a beard, right? Women don't grow. So why is this? Why did Hashem make it this way? So it says Zohar Kadosh, why? Because women, they have a nature of din, they're judgment women. That's their nature. You understand? So if they had a beard, says Zohar Kadosh, they would have too much dinim, too much. This is the reason why Hashem made that women don't have beard. Because they are din, women. They have a midah of din, judgment. So if you put a beard on a woman, too much dinim. You understand? That's the reason why we don't want a beard, on a woman. So you see from there, right, again, the hair is dinim. This is the reason why we don't want. But for the man, it's better. Why? Because the man is rachamim, mercy. He's not din so much like the woman, The woman is more din. That's their nature. You understand? This is why they have to cover their hair. They're not the same as the man, So, I'll tell you another thing which is similar to that, which is, if you remember the story, right, in the Sefer Bamidbar, we see, right, that Akadosh Baruch Hu tells Aaron, HaKohen, right, he tells him, that all the Levim, right, who are going to start working in the Mishkan, I want you to shave them, like the whole body, from the head down to the toe, right? They have to, this is the way it was, right? It says in the Chumash that they shaved their whole body, the Levim. They had to shave everything. Can you imagine? Looks like a baby, No, not one hair on the body. That's what it says, right? So the question is, why did they have to shave the whole body like this? What is this business? What's the purpose of that? So the answer is, that the Levim are also din. They're din. The midah is din. That's why they went and killed. The people who served the egel. They were the ones who killed them. They were the ones. Because the Levim are dinim. So Levi is din. So therefore Hashem said, in order to remove a little bit of the din from them, they should shave their whole body, because the hairs are bringing the dinim. Understand? So, right, this is the reason why. This is the reason why, they had to shave them. Can you imagine? So not only they had to shave them, afterwards what do they have to do? If they shave them, Aaron had to pick them up and wave them like this, right? Like a korban. You have to wave them, Can you imagine? They say that day Aaron, when they did this, he waved all the Leviim, by himself. He personally, So you can see how strong he was, Zdarovny. He was very zdarov. He waved like 20,000 people, in one day, like this, He was so strong, such a strong man. Who can do such a thing like this, Like you wave like a chicken, like this. You wave 20,000 men. Like this, like nothing. How strong he was, how strong they were. Our avot, our fathers, they were very strong people. Another thing I'll tell you, we'll stop here. What about the Nazir, right? So the Nazir, what does it say about him? That he has to grow the hair, right? He's not allowed to shave. Just the opposite, right? He has to have more hair. More and more and more. Never allowed to shave until he finishes in Nazirut. So it says in the essence of Kadosh. But if you're telling me, right, that the hair is just dinim, so why should they grow the hair? You know what I mean? Just the opposite, right? The Nazir is supposed to have rachamim, to have mercies. So if they're supposed to have mercies, why are they growing their hair? It's dinim. So answers to the Zohar Kadosh, the Nazir is different. You know why? Because when he becomes Nazir, he becomes Kadosh. Very holy, He attains the status of Kedusha. So because of that, all the hair that grows on him, it's not dinim, it's all Kedusha. Because of he's very Kadosh, the Nazir. You understand? He's so Kadosh, even his hairs are Kadosh. Rachamim, Not like anybody else. So Nazir is different, it's a different category. But in general, right, hair is dinim, that's why we don't want. And this is also, by the way, the reason why Sfirat HaOmer, we tell you, right, about the dinim, the hairs over there. Just the opposite, right, a little bit. We have to talk about that a little different time, we'll talk about different time. ברוך אדוני לעולם, אמן ואמן. רבי חנינא בן עקשיא אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לעזור את ישראל, לפיכך הכריע בא להם תורה ומצוות, שלמען אדוני חפש, למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר.